I imagine that the youth and the children of our church today will say in 10, 20, 30 years from now, that if it wasn't for the children's ministry that I grew up in or the youth group that I was a part of when I was younger, I don't know where I would be. So for me in my story, I grew up coming to New Life Church. And I started going, I don't know, since I was when I was in elementary school, preschool. Now my family was very involved, and it had an amazing impact on my life and my relationship with God. When I was in 5th grade, I went with our children's ministry pastor, Cheryl Munez, on my first missions trip to Washington, D.C., and that was life-changing. My heart for the poor and the needy and the lost grew immensely. And then the following year in 6th grade, 11, 12 years old, I went with her again on another missions trip to the Dominican Republic, and my heart for the nations grew. And skipping down the line of my story a little bit, I eventually went and served with a missions organization called Youth with a Mission for over 6 years all over the world. And it all started, my heart for the lost, for the nations, started all the way back in elementary school because somebody took the time and invested into my life. And that's my story. My story is over my life, I've had key people stop, pause, and invest into me. Not for an agenda, but because they genuinely loved a child of God, me. Now God has been able to raise me up. And I'm getting to live in a lot of ways a dream of being one of those key people in now the young people of our church. I get to serve as one of our youth directors here at New Life, and it is the greatest joy and privilege and honor and most humbling experience of my life that now that I have young people looking at me just like when I was young, looking at older people in my life as well. So I imagine just a whole sea of young people out of the Hampton Roads area coming to New Life Church and having somebody that takes the time, stops and gets to know them, that spends time with them inside the church building and then outside the church walls, inviting them into their homes, and adults inviting these teenagers and children into their lives, just like how Jesus stopped and took the time with his 12 or even his 3. He invited them into their life. He walked with them. He talked with them. And I think that if we do that together as a church, we'll impact an entire generation. There is a statistic that says that one of the main things that allows a young person, that influences a young person to continue in his or her walk with God after high school, is if they've had 5 adults and key influences invest in their life since birth, outside of their family members. That's been my story, and I hope that you can be, and I imagine that you will be a part of many people's stories here in the future.